welcome to the Spoonie Files. This is Kitty Speaks, Sandra, aka Kitty. I'm here today with my very first edition, and what we're going to try to do is answer questions and give tips and support to newly diagnosed spoonies or people with autoimmune diseases such as lupus and their support system. And I just want to make clear up front that while we are targeting those who are newly diagnosed, this information should be helpful for anybody, whether you've been diagnosed for a year or 25 years, or have been living with your symptoms and illnesses for over 4 decades like I have. What I'd like to do is use that wealth of knowledge that I have gained over the years to try to provide support and help others who may be suffering with autoimmune diseases and not necessarily sure where to turn. These are sensitive issues, and we're not always comfortable talking about them with other people, and sometimes we don't even ask questions of our doctors because there is a stigma that the question may be stupid, and a lot of times the kind of support we get is such negative support that it makes us not want to talk about what we're going through at all. So I'm hoping to provide a forum for people to get those questions answered, talk about their concerns, and find support. The question that I've chosen to deal with today came in from Denise Moore. I hope it was okay to name her. I didn't ask first, but I hope that's okay. Her question was sent in by email, and although she did send in a lot of questions, what I'm choosing to deal with today is one very specific issue that I think is a good way to start off this forum. She says, how do you get over the fear of always offending other spoonies when trying to get honest feedback on an issue? We don't generally know each other, so our humor, fears, tears aren't passed along as we communicate, and it can be really hard to bond. I've kind of lost all my friends in the last year. Don't want to give her business there, but she says, where do I find a new support system without appearing needy and lame? I think that this is a very good place to start off this forum, as what we're trying to accomplish is a place for people to be able to come and get support and get feedback in an honest and mature way. So the answer to your question is going to be the Spoonie Files. But no, seriously. I have found a lot of people have this issue and concern. Although we're all spoonies, we don't all have the same autoimmune diseases, and so it's not necessarily easy to find other people who may be suffering from the same symptoms as you, or who may have knowledge about what you're going through. But again, like I said, the biggest problem is the stigma when people do things like call us hypochondriacs, or tell us that it's all in our head, or tell us that we need to pray more, or give the impression that we're not religious enough, we're not saved enough, or we're crazy. It kind of makes it hard for you to want to open up and talk at all. So what I would suggest that you do is try to find one person. It doesn't have to be a group of people. And in fact, it may be hard to find a group of people. But if you can find that one person that you feel will not judge you, and that person may not be within your family, and I'm very sad to say that. I've come across a lot of spoonies recently who have told me that they don't have a support system at all, and especially not within their family. And in fact, recently one person told me that lupus runs in her family on both sides, on both her mother's side and her father's side, and even with all of that, she's finding it hard to get support from within her immediate family. And I found that very, very depressing, actually. People's minds are not going to change until they have more information. And so what I hope to help do is spread awareness about what we're going through, because people, when they're ignorant of an issue, they can be very insensitive and say very hurtful things. I don't know a better way to say it. I don't want to offend anybody, but the honest truth of the matter is that when people don't know about something, they can be very, very harsh and hurtful. So the answer to your question is that what you can personally do is try to help spread awareness. Try to help get information out there, because when people know better, they'll do better. Until such time as people realize that invisible illness are really illnesses, that they are not mental illnesses, that we really are suffering because of the disconnect that happens when they look at us and we look fine and we're telling them that we're sick. Until such time comes as we can close the gap between what they see and what they know, we're always going to have this issue. It's not going to go away. It's kind of like racism against disabled people. It's very hard for them to justify you saying that you're sick when you look fine. And so until such time as we can spread awareness and help people get the information that they need to know that invisible illness are really illnesses and that we really are suffering, it's going to be very hard to get the empathy that we need, even from within our own community, which is really hard to fathom. But I have found that I am meeting a lot of wonderful people who are really supportive and who really can empathize because they are going through the same thing. What you need is somebody who can empathize with you because they are going through what you are going through. And that person should be able to be a source of support and should be able to be a source of comfort and should be able to be a person that you can go to and open up and have an honest dialogue with. Because I know you personally, I offer myself as that person. But for those of you who don't know me personally, look within your doctor's office, the people that are sitting there in the waiting room. Look for support groups in your area, in hospitals. Ask your rheumatologist, the receptionist, about the support groups. They should have information about meetings at local hospitals. Ask your pastor at your church, if you are religious, if you have a church, if there is a support group, and if not, if you can start one. Be proactive. But you're going to have to put in some work to actually find other people who are going through what you're going through, because those will be the people that can empathize. As far as opening up within the community that you're dealing with, if you are finding that that you're not getting empathy and support, I suggest that you find a new group to try to find support from. Maybe the group of people that you're dealing with, maybe their main objective isn't to offer support and be there for one another. So look for people who are looking for what you are looking for. Facebook, Instagram, people who, be a hashtag, what do you call them? I forgot what you call them, lurker or whatever. But I usually put Spoonie Files needed. I'll put that hashtag on my post to let people know that I am looking for friends who are also spoonies. But it's going to take some work on your part. And if you find people who you are finding are not helpful or being rude or whatever, don't hesitate to kick them out of your circle. You don't have to have everybody that you come across in your circle of influence. Your circle of influence can be very, very small. Everybody does not have to serve that purpose in your life. If you want to still be friends, they can be friends. But if you find that you're talking to somebody about what you're going through and they're not receptive, or they're being critical or whatever, and you still want to have them in your life, don't talk about your health. That is... Sorry, my leg is starting to shake. I actually have a migraine right now, but I wanted to make sure that I got this out, and so the best way to do it was a vlog instead of typing, and so I'm starting to have muscle spasms and things right now. I apologize, which has made me lose my train of thought. I'm so sorry. I hope what I've said so far is helpful enough. If I haven't fully answered your question, please feel free to comment back. And those of you who are watching this video, please submit other questions that you would like answered, but my honest answer is keep your circle of influence small. You don't have to talk to everyone about what you're going through, because everybody is not going to have empathy or be receptive or be supportive. So you do not have to, everybody doesn't have to be involved in that part of your life. It's very sad to say that. We ought to be able to be open and communicate our whole, with so-called friends, but the honest answer is that until people have more information, until they can reconcile what they see with what they know about you, it's going to be an uphill battle. And so it may be hard to find, but if you can find that one person, hold on to them like a piece of gold. That's all I have for you today, because I don't want this video to be too long. But tune in next week for Spoonie Files, where I'll be answering more questions and giving more tips. And hopefully this can be that place that you need. This can be that forum of support for you. In the meantime, love, peace, and hair grease. Ciao.